Hey there, math fans. Going to talk about a very important topic for exam one: circles, lines, and intersections. It's just one of those main ideas that we essentially always ask about on exam one and often on the final, because it does a lot of things this course tries to do. It tests that you know the equations of lines, tests that you know the equation of circles, tests that you understand intersections, and then tests that you just know how to work with speed, distance, and time. I want you to change your perspective. Because they're big problems, sometimes students say, oh, those ones scare me. Because they are big problems with plenty to do, there's lots of ways to get credit. You really should have it all pretty much laid out. To me, these questions would be hard to get a really low score on. I shouldn't say hard. It's easy to write nothing. But these should not be blank. These are asked, find all the equations, find the intersections. Yes, there's room for small mistakes, but as long as you're doing things right, you're going to get a lot of the credit. So don't think of these as bad questions. Just be ready to go. Anyways, we're about to do a problem that looks like this. We have Danny is walking. Eventually, it's in the region and then walks to the edge. And we'll read through the story. But often these questions are about finding this point or finding how long you're in the region. That's what this is. Okay, so let's go. I think I'm just going to first just talk about outlining. So when you have a long question like this, I would start to draw it as I read it, just to help my mind read the questions. Assume a cell phone tower is at the top of Mount Rainier, and it gives coverage to anyone within a 5-mile radius. Okay, so I would have a circle of radius 5. Done. In fact, I could even come over here and say, and I can describe points on the edge of that. Done. I'm already earning credit. It's that easy. Danny is 7 miles south, so let's call this north, east, south, west. 7 miles south and 2 miles west of the tower. So somewhere over here. 2 miles west. You can hear me kind of reading it over and over again to make sure I label correctly. And he hikes to a point on the northernmost point, and that we know is 0, 5. Done. The moment I see that, I know I'm going to find the equation of line. I can kind of peek ahead, and it says how long, so I also know how the question is going to end. The question is going to end with time is distance over speed, and speed is 6 miles per hour. It doesn't take very long to do all of that. And you should know what to do next. We need to find the equation of that line. The slope is 5 minus negative 7 over 0 minus negative 2. 12 over 2 is 6. I know the intercept. At this point, I have done a huge part of the problem. And I have essentially one small job to do. Maybe it's not small. Maybe that's what's holding us up. But I need to find this intersection. Once I know the intersection, then I can answer the rest of the question. I can find how long. Compute the distance. A lot of times the reason students are getting this wrong in the homework is because they're either doing miscalculations or they're not finishing the problem. But often when I see their work, they're doing a lot of the other pieces correct. All right, so let's put all this together. We're going to solve this. And then we engage our algebra muscles. You're going to have to expand. And there's plenty that I could say here. I feel like this isn't the video for, so 2 times the middle. I don't feel like this is the video for me to talk a whole bunch about algebra because I want to talk about setup, and I feel like that would be distracting. You're going to keep going until you get x by itself. 37 x squared plus 60 equals 0. Ooh, it factors nicely. Once you have that x, you will know the x coordinate of this. Once you know the x coordinate of this, you can make it a decimal if you want, if it's messy. You can plug it into one of these equations, either one, and find the y value. Once you know those, you can find the distance. So again, I'm just laying out the approach. So you can do whatever you got minus the 0. Whatever you got for the y minus the 5, x, y, divide by 6, done. Oftentimes people get lost in the solving and the arithmetic, so I just wanted to lay out the approach. So there's one. Let's look at another. A certain radius, I think I might have done this in one of the classes, but let's do it anyways. There's a radio, it gets everything in 10 miles. Okay, so we can do this. X squared plus y squared is 10 squared, so that's 100. And then it says George gets on his bike, he starts here, he goes 10 miles an hour for 30 minutes, so he goes 5 miles this way. That must mean he's at 2, and I'm just reading the question. He then turns and goes south. Ooh, what is the equation of this line? Then it asks when he leaves. At what time? So I know how the problem's going to end. Time is distance over speed. Speed is 10. I also already know that this is 5 miles, so the total distance is 5 plus something. My job is to find that something and then divide by 10. So we should already know the end, and we sort of know the beginning. I need to find the intersection of this with this vertical line. Well, that vertical line is x equals 2. Substitute it in. It's a little easier than the last one. And I'm almost done. Plus or minus the square root of 96. So I know this point is 2 comma negative the square root of 96. And I think I'm done. I need to know what 2 minus this is. 2 plus the square root of 96. Put that here, divide by 10, done. Is that hard? Maybe, but there are plenty of things you can do right away. I would argue that a lot of things we're doing there aren't any sort of special, clever mathematical skill. We did have to read the question, but then we found the equation of the line, the equation of the circle, we found an intersection. So definitely skills we need to be able to move on past this course. And I'm trying to make you see that it's not as big as it seems. Okay, let's try another one. It's just these are all from that review sheet. You can see already, if you have been preparing and worked through 1 or 2 old exams, you'll already have seen this. So it says you have a tour boat. It can detect everything within 4 miles. Okay, x squared plus y squared is 16. A whale is currently located 4 miles west. 4 miles west, so negative 4. And you can hear me saying it again and again to make sure I'm reading it correctly. I think people just kind of gloss over. We got to read it. And then it exits on the easternmost edge. Okay. The radius was 4, so that's got to be 40. How long will it be in the radar region? This is the exact same idea. Time is distance over speed. The speed is 10 miles an hour. I need to know how long we're in this region. So the question is going to end with me figuring out this location. The distance is going to be the square root of 4 minus whatever that is, plus 0 minus whatever this is. So I will be done once I find that location. That's what you're doing in the homework. If you didn't catch that. Your goal in the future when you're doing the homework is to start to see these things, start to put them together. I'm going to find the equation of the line. Six over 8, 3/4. Y is equal to 3/4 x minus 4. Substitute, expand, solve. Let's see another one. Is this helping? Let me know if it is. This is Tara and Katie are my sister-in-laws. I use them in this problem, it appears. The radius is 20. X squared plus y squared is 20 squared. She started over 60, down 30. The closest to is actually a line modeling question. Go back and look at that if you want to see how that works. But they tell you this point. All right, I feel like we've done this now. Find the equation of the line. find the intersection, interpret. That's the game. I hope that helped. Let me know if this is helping.